Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to start what we are calling the cycling epic rivalries, and the first rivalry we're going to look at is Mathieu van der Poel and Wout Van Aert. Mathieu van der Poel and Wout Van Aert are two of the biggest names in cycling currently, both having dominated the sport of cyclocross since 2015, with the pair of them winning all the available world championships since then. So for that, the contest is tied right now at 3 championships each. However, Mathieu van der Poel has dominated the sport of cyclocross even more in recent years. But in recent years, the two of them have also taken more of a shine to the road and have both already achieved some incredible results, with Wout Van Aert winning a stage in the Tour de France and winning the overall at the Tour of Denmark, and Mathieu van der Poel dominated on the road last year, but we'll mention more of that later. So today we'll look at some of their closest encounters to date on the road, and we'll qualify this by saying that they both have to be in contention for the win, or at least be one of the favourites for the race. So their very first close encounter on the road came in the Tour of Belgium in 2017 on stage 2. On this stage, the pair of them had made it into a very elite group, and the group was nearing the finish. Wout Van Aert led from the front and opened up his sprint with Mathieu van der Poel on his wheel, and the Dutchman quite easily came around Van Aert with Gilbert on his wheel. Mathieu van der Poel held off Gilbert to take the win, and Wout Van Aert took a third place spot. So 1-0 to Mathieu van der Poel. It wasn't long before they had their second showdown, and this was in the Bruges Classic the very same year, where Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert had again made it into the lead group. In the sprint, both Van Aert and van der Poel go for the same wheel, but Van Aert loses the wheel of the rider and has to start his sprint earlier. But Mathieu van der Poel had to come around the rider, so therefore he lost a bit of momentum in his sprint and had to exert a bit more energy. Ultimately, Wout van Aert won the race. Our third encounter is the Dwars door Het Hageland, which is an incredible race. This is an incredible gravel race, and the terrain was punchy, gravelly, and had a bit of cobblestone. So it was really ideal for the skill set of these two cyclocross superstars. So it was unsurprising to see them both in the front group. Mathieu van der Poel was even outpacing the cameraman motorbike on the muddy section, so I actually had to tell him to get out of the way. On the final cobble climb, Wout van Aert gets to the front of the group and really puts in a dig to try and drop everyone. Unfortunately, Mathieu van der Poel is able to follow his wheel despite the increase in pace. At the top of the climb, a third rider, Taco van der Hoorn, great name, had bridged the gap to the pair, and it seemed like Wout van Aert was completely spent at the top, and both these Dutch riders passed Van Aert in the final corner, and Mathieu van der Poel easily takes the win in the sprint. So that would mean that right now Van der Poel is leading 2-1. The next serious contention between the pair was in 2018 for the European Championships in Glasgow, where Wout Van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel were representing their nations respectively on this wet day. With 2 kilometers to go, Mathieu van der Poel and Wout Van Aert have unsurprisingly again made their way into the race-winning move, with Spanish rider Jesus Herrera and 2 Italians in the form of Matteo Trentin and David Cimolai. With 1.3 kilometers to go, the group is joined by Wout Van Aert's teammate in the form of Sandro Meuris, who was able to offer a turn for his leader, and as he was spent, Cimolai took over and did the same for his leader, Mathieu Trentin. As this elite group approached the finish line, Cimolai opened up the lead out from the front as Trentin was positioned perfectly behind him, and once Cimolai moved across, Trentin was able to drive home the win for Italy in front of the 2 cyclocross superstars, with Mathieu van der Poel finishing second and Wout van Aert completing the podium. Quite a scalp for Mathieu Trentin, and it was really surprising to not see either of them actually winning, but Trentin is a very good rider in his own right. Despite Van der Poel not winning, I would still give it to him, so right now it's 3-1. So the next one on the list is maybe a bit contentious, but I'm putting the Amstel Gold 2019. In the 2019 season, Mathieu van der Poel was electric, and he was seen as the hot favourite for his first Amstel Gold, but Wout Van Aert was, for some, seen as a dark horse. However, it was the now legendary effort by Mathieu van der Poel to drag his group back to the 2 leading riders of Julian Philippe and Jakob Fuglsang that led to the phenomenal win, where he actually managed to even outsprint the 2 in front of him. However, Wout Van Aert finished 58th and 4 minutes behind, so maybe this wasn't actually a fair inclusion. That's it for this close look at this epic cycling rivalry, and with both of them only 25, we are sure to see many more battles to come, and Wout Van Aert has also started to recover from his very serious Tour de France injury, which I should have added in the beginning. Let me know down in the comments if I missed any scenarios out, and if you think it was a fair inclusion of putting Amstel Gold 2019. It probably wasn't. And if you're new here, why not subscribe and hit that bell to keep up to date with our videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you again soon.